you serious? Are you serious? Another Hosea Prophecy event. Where? Winnipeg, Canada. Dead birds falling from the sky like raindrops. What? Listen, here's some audio I want to share with you. Wow.
This dead bird is the only casualty we could find this afternoon, but this neighborhood was filled with them starting early this morning. One resident told me it was like a blitzkrieg of birds. They were on vehicles, coming up to business doors. And then, people tell us, they started dropping from the skies. Dozens of birds littered the streets near the intersection of King and Dufferin. People who work in the area say the birds were walking in a bizarre manner.
There was probably, I would say, like 5, 6, almost up to 1,000 birds in the trees. And then I was looking up, and then one fell right in front of me, right there. We talked to some folks across the street. They were looking out their windows. They said they were falling like raindrops. Yeah, it was the craziest thing, but this one got up and flew away.
People say the crazy bird event began as early as 7:30 or 8 o'clock this morning. Susan Tiganagas was at work when she called a blanket of black filled the lane behind the store.
What?
This morning they were just covered.
People said it was like that movie.
That's what it looked like. My husband said, this is a Hitchcock movie. It's crazy.
Folks, what's going on? Well, listen, animal experts are trying to figure out what may have killed dozens of blackbirds that fell from the sky in Winnipeg's North End up in Canada. Now, and that happened yesterday, August the 7th, 2013. Conservation officers have picked up more than 50 dead birds near just this one intersection of King Street. Did you say King? King Street and Dufferin. While the Winnipeg Humane Society took 11 birds that were still alive. So they did find 11 still alive. Probably trying to save them. They can't figure out what caused it. The birds will be euthanized, and they're going to send them to pathology lab for autopsies. It's just there's birds everywhere dead. My suspicion is that this is going to be rather than any kind of apocalyptic foretelling of birds falling from the sky. It is apocalyptic. Well, it is in the Bible. And you guys know I wrote the book, Hosea Prophecy. Actually, can I read what the Bible said? This is the 3 verses. The Lord spoke to me when the birds started falling out of the sky in Begley, Arkansas on New Year's Eve, bringing in the year 2011. And the Lord said, this is the Hosea prophecy. It was a prophecy by Hosea 3,000 years ago that had never been fulfilled. And we're seeing more and more and more prophecies coming to pass now in these last days. The Bible said, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. And by swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and everyone that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, with the fowls of heaven, yea, and the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Folks, I was asked the other day, are you going to write a second Hosea prophecy? I'm going to have to, because since I wrote this book in the fall of 2011, it's unbelievable how many dead birds, dead fish, dead cows, how many dead dolphins, dead pelicans, dead bison, dead buffalo, deer. Are you serious? Whales, bald eagles. I mean, it's unbelievable. What? Something biblical's going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. It's an apocalyptic, atmospheric situation that we're dealing with. And I'm going to be honest with you. It's not going to stop, okay? It will not stop, because once God puts a prophecy in motion, it just keeps going. Now, there's going to be I'm going to tell you now, there's going to be a documentary that's going to be airing on National Geographic Wild. It's called The Animal Apocalypse. It'll be airing sometime later this year. I'm waiting on the date to be set. I'm in the documentary. They're going to be discussing HARP. They're going to be discussing climate change, global warming, different types of magnetic atmospheric changes, pole shifts, and also one of the theories, these are all different theories, so they're going to have different experts for each of these, but one of them will be mine, and I'll be in there on the Hosea prophecy. Because from the religious standpoint, from the spiritual standpoint, if you will, it may be the best explanation of all. I'm not saying that some of the others couldn't play a part, but certainly overall, all they're doing is playing into the prophecy, which is from the book of Hosea. So what was God trying to say? What God's saying is, because of the sin in this world, you're going to start seeing birds falling out of the sky, fish washing up by the millions in the banks, and cattle and large beasts of animals falling over dead, because there's no truth and no mercy and no knowledge of God in the land, because of all the sin that man's committing. You just take that events, just those events alone should wake you up to realizing you're at the end. We're getting very close to the end of time for the coming of the Lord. But there's more than that. There's the wars, the rumors of wars, the Middle East peace talks, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilence, earthquakes in all over the world, every day, all the time. I mean, and what about all the hate and the murder? And what about all the corruption and the greed? Oh, are we living in the last days? Why don't you get saved? I want to thank Leslie for sending this to me. Thank you, Leslie. It's a great report. And once again, it confirms the Word of God. Now, tomorrow on my show, my guests will be Joe and Doug Hagman. Joe and Doug Hagman are going to be my guests on my 3-hour radio show tomorrow from 12 noon to 3 Eastern. Don't miss this. Don't miss tomorrow's broadcast. We're going to talk about the NSA. We're going to talk about the TSA, the FBI. We're going to be talking about major events, false flag situations. We're going to be talking about Edward Snowden. We're going to be talking about Obama and Putin and the division that we have. We're going to be talking about what else is going on with FEMA and other things with the government, other leaks, other scandals, other situations. We're going to break it all down. Remember, the Hagmans have sources in the Department of Homeland Security, and they have sources in the Pentagon, so they're able to get information. They told us, they were on my show about 6 weeks ago, and they told us, after Doug had a secret meeting at 3 a.m. in Washington, D.C., that from an informant within the Pentagon, that there was going to become a major event was coming. Is that the closing of these embassies? Was that what it was talking about? Or is it the pole shifts that they're talking about? Or the sun flipping NASA keeps talking about every day? Is it about the comet Ison? Is there something catastrophic coming? I mean, we're going to try to, or is it a false flag? I don't know. I'm going to ask them. We're going to interview them for 3 hours tomorrow. We're going to dig deep, 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 deep into the very heart and soul of the Hagmans and see if we can get some truth of what's going on in our government. Now, I can tell you this. I'll be holding the Word of God as close to my heart as possible, and we'll be breaking down the apocalyptic signs of the coming of the Lord. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. We're living in the last days. God bless.